The group foundation is privileged to honor Irondale Ensemble Project and Terry Price with its humanitarian award.
I'm not going to read all this script for Hamlet, but I've got a few remarks for the first couple of pages. Thank you, American Group Psychotherapy Foundation. I'm happy to accept this award. I'm proud to accept this award on behalf of the Irondale Ensemble Project. We honor the work of scores of artists who, over the past 43 years, and people they've reached who've had their lives changed by a hands-on engagement with the theater. And I'm trying to figure out why I was so moved and honored by this humanitarian award. The theater has so many awards: Tonys, Obies, Indies, Drama Desks. We've never won any of those. But this one feels different. On the surface, it sounds incongruous. Most actors are in group therapy, not getting awarded by it. The award doesn't celebrate a great performance, or a piece of writing, or dramaturgy, or stagecraft. What it's about for me is saying that the work we do in the theater is making a connection with human beings. And while I would never classify our work as therapy, I do acknowledge that it has the potential to be therapeutic. Our theater is connecting with human beings, some of whom never even go to a show. And making that connection only enhances its artistic quality. I also happen to believe that theater, like any kind of theater, is the most human of art forms. Like any live interaction, there's an ephemeral quality about it. It happens in a room where people gather to hear stories about people, some of whom we're alike, and some of them we're very different from. But hearing those stories interpreted and retold by actors who, incidentally, are people, who come through these doors, they may just learn to see the world through somebody else's point of view. And lo and behold, they may have their minds changed. Think about how difficult that is. When was the last time you actually had your mind changed about something very important that you believed in? For 43 years, we've made plays. We try to make plays that have something to say about the world we live in, even if the plays themselves are centuries old. But there's a byproduct to our work in the rehearsal room and on stage, like Tang. Remember Tang, the breakfast drink? They used to say in the commercials it was invented by the space program for astronauts. Well, our Tang was taking our rehearsal techniques and actor training tools to schools, prisons, adolescent HIV prevention programs with teenagers who sold sex to stay alive. But perhaps the most unlikely project we wandered into was catalyzed by a tragic event 11 years ago: the murder of Eric Garner, a Staten Island man, at the hands of New York City police officers. You remember this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How we all saw the videos of this event, watching over and over and over again. I just kept looking at it and eventually thinking of it as a bad theater piece. There was no communication going on. They weren't listening to each other. They were missing cues. Listening, the most basic skill that an actor is required to have. Bad actors, terrible result. And so I wrote a letter to Commissioner Bratton at the time, and I said, the cops need actor training. And I thought that was going to go right in the circular file. But 2 days later, you can almost hear the Law and Order, I got a call from One Police Plaza saying, come down and talk about a pilot project. We created a 10-week program where 7 cops and 7 civilians, randomly chosen, get together in a room called the theater, and they learn to improvise. And we sing together, we eat together, we play together, and after 10 weeks, the change is miraculous. You know, there's one exercise, the 3rd week in, where we ask the cops to bring their hats, because they're not in uniform when they attend. They bring their hats, and when the hat goes on their heads, Tom the A-team. The transformation is unbelievable. When you see the civilians in the audience, in the group, gasp, because they were playing with human beings a few minutes ago, and now they're in the presence of the authority. And it's this costume piece that does it, and our response to that costume piece. About halfway through the program, we asked everybody to go off and interview the other. So a police officer would interview a community member, not like them at all, different age, different ethnic group, maybe even different gender. And they tell their story in their own words. They come back to the group, and we coach them in how to do that. They create monologues. At the end of 10 weeks, we put on a show. The group shows an audience, people from the community, people from their families, people from the brass, the administration of the police department, come down and see the journey that they've been on. We're living in a polarized world, a world where we stay in our caves with people who think as we think, talk as we talk, and we fear people from the cave across the street. That's why the police project, which we call To Protect, Serve, and Understand, has morphed into a larger framework beyond law enforcement, which we're calling the theater of empathy. And I can imagine that among the caves are teams of artists, like SWAT teams, who are there to lure people out of their caves and bring them to a place called a theater, where they can build trust, come to greater understanding, and recognize their common humanity. Thank you for this. It means a great deal.